Hello everyone and welcome to your horticulture lesson. Today we are going to learn how to make a hanging basket. Okay, so I like to do my own hanging baskets every year and they hang outside the front of my house. So I'm going to show you how I do that. Alright, so first of all I'm just going to go through the different types of baskets that you can get. Okay, so you can get this sort of hanging basket from places like Wilkinson's, and it's a nice cheap way of getting a hanging basket, okay? But if you buy a wire basket like this, you'll also need to buy a liner, which just fits inside it, okay? You can also get those from shops like Wilkinson's, and even I've seen them in Asda as well. These sorts of baskets, now I know that these are old, but I like to reuse my materials whenever I can to help the environment. So even though these are old baskets, they can still be used. And the best thing with these baskets, these types of baskets, you can buy from B&M, Pound Stretcher, places like that, B&Q. You don't need a liner, so your compost can go straight in, and there's plenty of drainage on those. Now, I'm going to reuse these wire baskets today, okay? And unfortunately, my liners are too small. So I'm going to use those liners on something else. So what I'm going to have to do today is create my own liner for this hanging basket, okay? And for that, I'm going to use an old carrier bag. Now, we all have loads of carrier bags hanging around at home. Okay, and as we all know, they're not very good for the environment. They end up in oceans and all sorts. So I'm going to use a carrier bag, an old carrier bag that I've got at home, to line my hanging basket, because then I'm just reusing old materials, okay? And as I've said, that's really good for the environment. Right, so let's go through our equipment, shall we? I'm going to move the things out the way that I'm not going to need. Okay, so you're going to need compost. You're going to need a hand trowel or a little pot for scooping out your compost. You're going to need your basket and something to line your basket with. You're going to need your plants. Now the plants I'm going to be using today are double petunias, okay? So I've grown these from tiny little plugs that I bought from Aldi. So keep your eye open now, guys, because this is the right time of year to start creating your baskets. It's now the beginning of May and the risk of frost, okay, is starting to disappear. So I've got double petunias. I've got a trailing fuchsia, and I've got stripy petunias. These plants are all suitable for hanging baskets and pots. Okay, so the first thing is I'm going to line my basket. If you're lining your own basket, you're probably going to have to use some scissors. Now, please be careful with scissors. They're very sharp, okay, and you must stay safe. So if you find using scissors difficult, please ask your parents or carers to help with this bit. So just make sure your liner is going to fit in your basket. Okay, just make sure there's a little bit of extra to go over the top of your basket as well. Just trim it down. A little bit windy today, so this bag's blowing around a little bit. Oh dear. There we are. Right, I'm just going to weigh that down for a sec. my liner. Don't worry how it looks at this stage, okay? Because we will tidy it up, okay? Right at the end. Now, the only problem with plastic is that water can't drain through it. So if you are lining your basket with plastic, you must put holes in the bottom. Okay, I'm just going to use these scissors again. Like I say, be careful. Ask parents and carers to help you with this bit. But I'm just going to make some splits in the bottom of the plastic so water can drain through. You will need about 6 or 7 splits, okay? It's one of the things that's really important to the success of your hanging basket. You need to be draining it. It has to have drainage, okay? Because there's going to be that many plants in your hanging basket, you're going to be needing to water it every day, but you don't want it to stay too wet. So those holes will let all the extra water, the plants will drink what they want, and then all the extra water will run away. Right, I'm going to half fill my basket with compost. I'm actually going to use my extra little plant pot for this. Okay, use your hands just to level it all out. Put your compost into your hanging basket. Okay. Probably just a little bit under half full there, but that's fine. Okay. So I've got my compost in my basket. I'm now going to place my plants into the basket where I would like them. Now, a tip for hanging baskets. A tip for hanging baskets are any trailing plants you have, such as your fuchsia, put to the outside of your basket. Here's another fuchsia. So I'm going to put it on the outside of my basket so it can grow over. This can grow over. My petunia, I'm going to put in the middle, so that will grow up. And these double petunias, I will just put around the edge. Okay, so I've now got my plants where I would like them, okay? That's the position that I'm going to keep my plants in. So what I need to do now is fill in around each plant with compost. Okay, you're trying to cover the roots and not the leaves. Doesn't matter if a bit of compost gets on the leaves, but you just need to knock it off, okay? Okay, can you see all the gaps there? Just want to fill in the gaps in between the plants. Birds sound happy today. Okay. Use your fingers just to push that compost around the roots. Okay, you can wear gloves if you want to. I prefer not to wear gloves for this because I feel that I can, well, I feel that I've got a little bit more control over what I'm doing, sort of how I'm, because you have to be quite gentle around the plants, and sometimes when you've got gloves on you can't feel when you're actually with the plants. But if you want to wear gloves, just pop your gloves on, but just be careful not to break the stems of the plants or the leaves. Right. And that's almost there now. Okay, so you can see there I've filled in all the gaps between the plants, covered the root ball. I'm quite happy there. I'm quite pleased with that. These plants have gotten too big for these little pots. So what you'll find now in this new compost is that they'll spread their roots will grow out, and that will make the plant grow bigger. Top tip for hanging baskets: always put more plants in than what you think you'll need, okay? And it will lead to a more impressive looking hanging basket. Okay, so last one. Here's our star appearance from Griff. Okay, there we are. So, we've made our hanging basket. Now, I'm just going to trim off the edges. Do you remember I said? I'm just going to I've just found another little space here that I've missed. I'm just going to pop a little bit more compost there. Now there's not much. I'm going to trim off this actually until I've watered it and let it settle over the next couple of days. But this is a little bit big, so I'm just going to take that off, and that, and that. Right. I'm happy with that now. I'm going to actually put it into position now. I'm going to go and hang it up at the front of my house before I water it. Okay, so let's go and water it. Okay, now one of the things that I've forgotten to tell you about is about removing the flowers. Okay, I did this on my planting up tutorial a couple of weeks ago. And what we do now is we remove the flowers off the plants because that is going to encourage the plant to be bigger. Okay, so all of those flowers I'm going to remove. Okay, okay, so that's all the flowers off, and you just hang it in place and pop some water on it. Okay, make sure you give it a good water until you see the water coming through the bottom of the basket. Okay, so can you see now that the water is starting to drain through the bottom of the basket? Okay, so that basket is not going to become waterlogged. Okay, don't be worried to put too much water on it, because you've put these drainage holes in, it will just drain out. Right, thanks for watching everyone. Don't forget to wash your hands. Bye.